Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, aka the Bod Father, and as always, I'm bringing you guys awesome interviews, and today it is an honor and privilege to have Mr. Jeremy Wagner. He is the guitarist of Broken Hope. They're from Chicago, Illinois. We're going to be talking about their new album, Mutilated and Assimilated, out June 23rd. And I hope I pronounced assimilated correctly there. If not, Jeremy will kick my ass for it, but I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. You got it, buddy. You got it. You're good.
Now, they got a CD plus DVD digipack with this. We're going to be talking about this new album, and I'm pretty excited about this, honestly. Jeremy, how's it going?
I'm doing real good. How are you doing?
Doing good. Let's jump right into this. What's impressed you the most about making the new album, and what's caught your eye about it or impressed you the most about it so far?
Couple of things. What's impressed me about making it is I'm really impressed with my fellow bandmates, Damien, Matt, Mike, and Diego. They all really stepped up their game on this album. They brought the best of their abilities to the table. They brought the best ideas to the table to make this album what I think is the best album we've ever done in our whole career. And I guess just the way the five of us, what I refer to as five genuine brothers, really pulled together, worked as a team to make this the best album possible. And that goes with the best riffs we could do together, with the best, arrangements, the best leads, the best harmonies, just all this stuff, the layering, and then the tracking, the professionalism in the studio, just across the board, man. All band members pulling together as one unit with the same vision. That's what really impressed me with the songwriting and recording of the album. Just really, I'm just impressed with my fellow bandmates. I love those guys, and the chemistry is what I call perfect. Now, since the album's came out a week ago today, last Friday, and I'm really impressed with, I guess, the job we did, because the reviews, for the most part, have been impressive. Yeah, man, I wanted to really say that I don't think I've ever seen this much love for a Broken Hope album before. I mean, usually we put out an album and, like with any album, people either love it or hate it, but the response to the album, the buzz on the album, the accolades, and I'm talking accolades from, press sources that have hated us in the past are coming around saying, wow, you guys actually did something this time we like. The attention it's getting, it's on a whole new level, It's just been fucking awesome. And this is just the first week, so it just seems like the response has been mostly positive, and we're reaching a lot more people with this album. There's just something, I don't know, man, not to sound corny, but there's something really special with what we've done with this album. And I keep saying this, man, in interviews. I think we, quote unquote, hit it out of the ballpark this time. Definite home run with this new album. And I'm real happy, real proud of everything.
How was working with producer and engineer, and I hope I get this correct, Scott Creekmore on this album?
Scott Creekmore is a pure joy to work with. I've been working with him for, decades and decades. Scott Creekmore he's someone who's been an old friend of mine. I've known him for I've known him for ages, dude. Going back to he's one of the first people I ever jammed with. He was a drummer and I was a guitar player, and I was probably 17. So that's the history Scott and I have. Wow. As a producer, an engineer, and a studio guy, I've been working with Scott for a long time as well. Scott built a studio decades ago and really got into engineering and stuff. And he is probably one of the best studio engineers and producers, especially of metal, death metal, and rock that's out there. I think he has the best ears in the business by a long shot, man. He's just exceptional. He's what I call a studio Jedi. So I knew Scott was going to be great. We worked with him on our last album too, Woman of Disease, but he didn't fully produce that album. This time around, we wanted Scott to fully produce. We knew that he'd be doing a great job, mixing and mastering. and all that stuff. And he really did, man. He did a phenomenal job. And he really came through, dude. He's the best thing that could have happened to us. And I want to just keep using him. I want to use him for every album, and I consider Scott Creekmore the sixth member of Broken Hope. That's how important he is to the band, how much he means. And at the end of the day, man, we're putting out an album. To us, it doesn't matter if we're, little itty bitty Broken Hope death metal band or, some juggernaut selling millions of albums. Dude, to me, an album is extremely important. An album is eternal. It's forever. And you gotta release an album that has a sonic quality for the fans, for anyone buying your album. I believe in making sure you're delivering an album to people that is the best production it can be, setting your standards high, quality control, the best production, the best mix, the best product possible. And Scott helped us achieve that with Mutilated and Assimilated. Again, man, we hit a home run, and it was, the band, my fellow bandmates, and it was Scott Creekmore. Everyone played a role in making this album so great, So to answer your question, which I think I did, Scott Creekmore fucking rules. And I always want that dude in the picture when it comes to doing Broken Hope, bro. Absolutely.
Any songs off the Mutilated and Assimilated album that are standing out more to you than any on it, possibly?
Well, I there's a track that is a special track to me because it's the first time Damian Lesky, our singer, collaborated with me musically. Damian's a fantastic guitar player. And for those that don't know, Damian Lesky, our singer, he's also a singer and guitarist for the band Gorgasm. And he came to the table with some riffs, and him and I collaborated on a song called The Carrion Eaters. And that song, Damian wrote most of the music for that song, and I contributed like 2 heavy riffs that are played throughout The Carrion Eaters. So it was really special to me because Damian's my brother. I love that guy, and being able to do something aside from him doing vocals and me doing guitar, to do something where we actually wrote music together as guitarists, just really cool. And it's I love that song. I love playing that song, and I think it's one of our standout tracks from the album. So The Carrion Eaters, another Lesky song, The Bunker, that he wrote the music to, is one of my favorites. And then I'd say Mutilated and Assimilated, the title track, very fond of that. And Last Frozen is another track that I really like. And then the song, The Necropants. Those are the ones that are, I guess, off the top of my head, ones I really love to play, to listen to. I'm really proud of them. I love the whole album, but off the top of my head, those are like the songs, bro, I would want to play live for the rest of my life if we can fit them all into the set.
I like Hell's Hand Puppets. I like that song.
Yeah, that's a good one too, man. And that's another song Damian Lesky wrote musically. He contributed like to 3 tracks on the new album. Yeah, it was really cool.
Now this is something I thought was very cool of you guys, and I was even shocked that these were even up for sale. You guys bought Jeff Hanneman's guitars and tracked songs using Jeff's guitars. Now, folks, he's the old guitarist from Slayer. If you don't know who that is, and you don't know if you're living under a rock, that's for sure. How was the feeling of getting those guitars, Jeremy, and using them, tracking these songs with these guitars, man?
Well, it was definitely, you gotta admit, it's a pretty unique situation and experience to have these, iconic guitars from such a legendary guitar player. Definitely something I don't take lightly, and very grateful to have the opportunity. It's really, it's a very inspiring thing. I can tell you that. It's an amazing feeling. Like, there's 2 guitars in particular out of the whole collection that I've got that really I love playing and really, really sound amazing to me. Not that the others don't, but there's something just a little more special about the feeling and sound from 2 specific Hanneman guitars I have. And so there's those 2 guitars I'm talking about. I actually wrote all my music for the album exclusively with those guitars. And then there's one of the 2 that we used exclusively to record all the rhythm tracks and some harmonies throughout the whole album with. So all those, on every Broken Hope song you hear on the new album, when you hear, you know, the heavy riffing going on, the rhythm stuff, you're hearing Jeff's guitars perfectly preserved through my rig, you know, my guitar rig, you know. It's just, again, something very special and unique with the timing of acquiring these instruments and being able to use them on the record. And by using them on the record, that was one way for me to pay tribute to Jeff Hanneman, who's a huge source of inspiration to me and one of the reasons I became an extreme metal guitarist. And it's also like, you know, one way of keeping Jeff's spirit alive. Here we are taking these instruments that were dormant in storage for so long and giving them a new lease on life and actually using them to write and record a death metal album with. It's a very special thing. And again, it's a very, you know, it's a tribute thing. And again, it's all about keeping Jeff's spirit alive and honoring his legacy. And that's one of the things we've achieved by using these instruments on the album. So it's just a real cool, special thing, dude. You know?
Yeah, for sure. And Jeff, like you said, Jeff was a fucking amazing guitarist. And when he passed, I was really bummed about it. But in the back of my mind, I was going, you know, surely to goodness they're going to put these guitars to use. You know, they're not just going to sit there. You know, hopefully not. But I'm glad you guys picked them up for sure.
Nope, not at all. Yeah. No, his Jeff's widow, Catherine Hanneman, you know, we've had very, very in-depth discussions about these instruments. And one thing that she told me, and I've shared this with a bunch of journalists like yourself, is that she was very adamant that these guitars continue to be used, whether they're used to rehearse with, to write music with, to record music with, or to perform music with live in concert. That's what she says her late husband, Jeff, definitely would have wanted. He was a guitarist. He loved the guitar. He loved the instrument, and he especially loved his guitars. It's my understanding, you know, his mindset was to the point of guitars or any instrument are made to be played, you know, not hung up on a display, you know, not put into, you know, a storage locker and, you know, whatever, buried in a safety deposit box, you know. These things should be used and enjoyed, and I hear that belief too, bro, and that's what I'm doing with them. So it's really cool.
What has adding Matt Slakta and Diego Soria to Broken Hope? What have they brought to the table, man, that was missing possibly?
They brought a few things that the band really needed, and that I'm delighted we have now. It brought a professionalism. I can't say certain members of our band in the past were very professional, you know, for myriad of reasons, and had a lot of problems with certain band members in the past for years. And they brought the professionalism they bring equates to zero drama. There's no infighting. There's no headbutting. They're just professional musicians, and they're also the best musicians respectively to what they do that Broken Hope's ever had. For example, Matt Slakta is the best lead guitarist I've ever played with in any band I've ever done, whether it was high school bands I tried to start up, Broken Hope, or any other like side projects I've done. He is without a doubt the best lead guitar player that I've ever worked with and had in Broken Hope. He's possibly maybe one of the greatest lead guitarists from the Chicago area.
Wow.
And I know that's a bold statement, but yeah, he's masterclass level, man. He's phenomenal. He brought just that musicianship and that skill, and that, again, that professionalism. Same thing, highly professional. Also, the best bass player I've ever had in Broken Hope. Like, he actually writes bass lines. He actually plays with his fingers. His predecessors didn't do that. This guy's passionate, like Matt, about his instrument. That's what he lives for, to play that damn bass, just like Matt lives to play that guitar. I've never had that before. The only other people in the band, like Mike, Damien, and me, who are that passionate about our instruments and passionate about death metal and passionate about Broken Hope and what we do. That's what Matt and Diego bring, that same passion and that same vision. They share the same vision that Mike, Damien, and I share. again, that passion for death metal, for their instruments, and for Broken Hope. And moreover, they are the best dudes you could ever meet, man. Their personalities are those of men who are good guys. You know, no attitudes, no egos. They enjoy life. And, dude, it's like Broken Hope is like a genuine band of brothers. The five of us are very close. We're the best of friends. And it's because of those two guys added, this is like the most fun I've ever had in Broken Hope. And I can honestly say, like, it's the best time that I've had in Broken Hope. And that's going back 29 years since I started the band with Joe and Ryan, who, rest in peace, are no longer with us. Mm-hmm. It's honestly a real honor at this stage of the game to be in Broken Hope with these guys and with this new album. So they brought everything I could hope for, and it's all positive and it's all good, and it just made Broken Hope stronger, better, and again, for me personally, more fun and just fucking great. It's great.
Young Padawans Matt and Diego have now graduated to Master Jedi of Broken Hope.
Yes, exactly.
Well, that's awesome, man. I'm glad that this band's still going on and there's no stopping. And that's, I know you've rest in peace to the other members and condolences to them, because I'm sure they want you to stop, man. So
yeah, there's some people that I grew up with and who were around in the old days, who were friends with some of these now deceased band members and even ex-band members. And, some people like that from around here, the old school people, they got a real attitude about Broken Hope, like, oh, those guys are dead. You shouldn't, that Broken Hope shouldn't go on. It's like, dude, those guys were out of the band by 1999. I was still doing Grotesque Blessings tours and still writing Broken Hope music. And frankly, at the end of the day, I'm one of the original 3 founding members of the band who's still alive. And, I'm the guy who named the band, wrote most of the music, all the lyrics. And I like to say, while I'm still alive, life is short, man. Let's face it. As long as I'm alive, Broken Hope will continue to be alive, and I'm still going to do it. It's a band. It's a band that's intertwined in everything in me, my DNA, my soul, my heart. I live and breathe Broken Hope, man. I started as a teenager with Joe and Ryan. We all dreamed of, putting out albums, and we did. Most of the guys are gone, but you know what? As I continue on this journey of life, and I can doing Broken Hope and putting out new music, when I perform on tour and stage and play those old, I think I'm keeping the spirit of Joe and Ryan alive, because I'm playing the music we wrote together, and they're in my thoughts. Well, honest to God, while my feet are on that stage and I'm playing those songs, the guys are in my thoughts while I'm playing those songs. And it's been said, if you think of someone who's gone from this planet, and you keep their memory in your thoughts and in your mind, you're, in one respect, you're keeping them alive. So, bro, I like to think on performing these songs that I wrote with those guys, thinking about them, I'm keeping them alive and those guys will always be a huge part of my life and a big part of Broken Hope's music, and I thank you for, telling me that you're glad that Broken Hope's still forging ahead and continuing on. I want to do this as long as I can. And again, every step I take forward with Broken Hope, and it's been a long time. Those guys are never far from my thoughts, and I could have gave up a long time ago, but you know what, man? It's just, again, my point of life being short. Do what you love to do, what you're passionate about. Whether it's you that interviewing bands and you love doing it, keep it, bro. And I love making fun of music and Broken Hope, and I'm going to keep doing that too. You know what I mean? So, but thanks. I appreciate the kind words and everything.
Yeah, I love doing this, man. Doing interviews and get just to sit down and chat with you guys and seeing a different side of you all. It's a cool thing, and I absolutely love supporting locals, because I feel like being just a small voice for these guys, and especially you guys, it helps out even more. So I love doing this.
Yeah, good, man. That's awesome.
let's talk about this a little bit. Now, I know we talked about the reviews coming in and everything. Do you feel a little bit of pressure on this now since they're saying this album, it could be the death metal album of the year, man?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because I've never heard that before. Broken Hope.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think it's pretty awesome, man. I think we did everything right, like with the way we wrote this album, and again, recording with Scott Creekmore. And this time we had our own recording studio, so because of that studio and doing things on our own time, we really fleshed out all of our ideas and all the arrangements, and took our time tracking, took our time mixing and mastering, and making every song super strong. Like every song was scrutinized and pushed to meet our, what I call, quality control standards, and the production as well. And we knew as a band, when we finished the album, we knew we had a real monster on our hands. We knew that for us personally, we were like, all right, we fucking really made a great album, but the way this year's been turning out, 2017 is being dubbed the year of death metal, because there's so many legendary bands that are all putting out albums. Legendary bands, newer death metal bands. I mean, there's so much death metal coming out this year. It's like a big fucking tsunami wave of death metal, dude. And
sure, yeah.
It's really awesome to be a part of that wave. But as far as anyone, people saying that's the death metal album of the year, bro, I'll take that, because I've never had accolades like that before in all these years. I know we've always, no matter what album it is, we've always made sure we put out the best Broken Hope album possible. But I don't know, man. Maybe the stars are starting to align, at least on this one, and it's meeting the tastes of a lot of people. There's people that have interviewed me, whether it was a European journalist or even a guy in the U.S. maybe before you interviewed me today. 2 people have said they never liked Broken Hope or death metal, frankly, being brutally honest. And they're like, well, we love Mutilated and Assimilated. Quality of not just the production quality is stellar, but there's a real catchiness to the songs, to the riffs. There's a real significant delivery from the vocals, the drums. It's like a perfect storm happened for us on this album. Now, believe me, there's people that have reviewed the album that fucking still hate us. I mean, and say the album sucks and blah blah blah, But I usually read everything. So far, those have been few and far between. And man, good reviews or bad reviews, of course, I embrace positive, killer reviews. That means the world to me. But I don't get hung up on reviews. The bad ones, especially. The good ones, yeah. I definitely celebrate small victories, but I just want to be able to go to bed knowing I did the best I could, that this band did the best they could with this album. And I'm telling you, bro, if people say it's the best death metal album of the year, dude, I will take that, because death metal is what I'm all about. I'm a death metal lifer. I keep telling people that, and it's the genre in which I thrive. It's what I've always done. Death metal means the world to me. So at this stage, 29 years of Broken Hope, getting into my late 40s, if people think that, dude, by all means, I am happy to hear that, and I'm delighted. And it just reinforces my desire to have delivered the best album I possibly could at this time. So we'll see what happens. But with all that, also to answer your question, no, I don't feel any pressure, man. None at all. I do what I do. I delivered it. Now this album's out to the world. It's out of my hands, and there's nothing I can do about it. So I just want everyone to enjoy it who gets their ears and hands on it.
What can fans expect at a show from the Mighty Broken Hope once they come to see you guys live?
When we play live, like on a typical tour, we play small clubs. So we don't play, we just because we've never been a super huge band. So we only, we draw X amount of people at shows in the U.S. and Europe if we're headlining. So my point of telling you that is, if you see us at a small club, or if we're out with a bigger band that we're supporting, we are playing bigger venues, or we're on some of these killer festivals where you tens of thousands of people on a big fucking stage, no matter what arena, venue that you see Broken Hope at, expect to see and hear a band that's probably amped up on testosterone and ready to throw down and deliver like the most ferocious live set that you can take in. We really get into playing live, you know. I mean, it's like the set, an hour set for us flies by like nothing, snap of a finger, you know. It's so fun to play. So, but that energy, that ferociousness, and energy I'm talking about, we try to convey that from stage, and we always try to go the extra mile to make sure, like, we always have our sound man. We always try to make sure that the sound for anybody is the best, and that's something you can expect from Broken Hope. We only use the best sound men that we bring along on tour and whatnot, because, you know, man, part of our philosophy is, I know some bands like at our level don't care about sound men. Either they don't want to pay the expense of hiring a sound man, or they think a sound man is silly and they'll just use the house sound guys at clubs. That's fine, you know, that's their thing. But, we'd rather pay the extra money it takes to have a real kick-ass sound man who tours with us and knows our material and can make us sound good every night, dude, because I'm a fan, okay? And when I buy a ticket to a show, I want to hear a band, you know, of course, sonically over a fucking PA at a live show, kick my ass and sound good. I want to get my money's worth. So it's that way of thinking as a fan, being a guy in a band, that I want the fans coming to see us to hear the best sounding live show they can. You know what I mean? So that the quality sound and, again, ferocious energy, two big things you can expect from Broken Hope Live.
Folks, now we're in the digital era of recording albums and social media. Jeremy, do you guys like this now, this era that we're in of the, you know, recording your albums and social media, getting stuff out there a lot quicker? So I know you're back for the old school ways of the recording on 2-inch tape, things like that, but do you like this, man?
You know, I'm pretty hip to the social media thing. Now, I will admit I can't keep up with there's so many different social media platforms that you can use to promote a band, and I can't keep up with it all. So, like, we've got, thankfully, people at our record label that all they do is social media promotion, and they actually take over some of our social media accounts. But I will dabble in, like, trying to at least get stuff out through the official Broken Hope Facebook page or Instagram and doing that stuff. And but, you know, I only do that here and there. Really, I leave it up to the label people and management. And they're really good because they're on top of that, dude. I got to tell you, man, it's a lot to do if you were just a band member just trying to manage social media, especially with a new record, between interviews and promoting every goddamn little thing related to your album, whether it's the singles coming out, a 360-degree video, a lyric video, an official video, you know, new record trailers, you know, social media interviews, everything. For one person to do that, I can't do all that. So I'm hip to social media. I do believe it's effective and it's important. So I don't, you know, I try to stay current with, you know, with these, I don't know, promotional trends, if you will. You know, even though yeah, damn right, I'm old school. I mean, the only thing we could do to get our name out there was trade cassette demo tapes, you know.
Yeah,
so
flyers, yeah.
I've seen it all, but, you know, it's just a lot to keep up on. And thankfully, we've got a team in our corner that can manage that shit. And, you know, I just provide the content. I let them take care of the rest.
What made you want to become a musician? What was that spark for you, my man?
Oh, I can tell you easily. I can tell you that right now, because I'll never forget it. I was already in my mid-teens, like 15 years old. I was already into heavy metal big time. And I always wanted to, I had like an acoustic guitar, and I always thought the guitar was cool and it fascinated me, but I never took it seriously. And then right around age 15, bro, I discovered Metallica, Ride the Lightning album.
Oh, hell yeah.
When I heard Ride the Lightning, I was always getting heavier and heavier and heavier music. And when I discovered Ride the Lightning, it blew me away. I mean, it I remember exactly where I was, what I was doing when I first heard that album. I never heard anything like it in my goddamn life. It blew me away, dude. It blew me away. I hadn't even heard Kill 'Em All then. There was so much metal going on, and I was, I didn't have a lot of money. I was raised by a single mom, and shit, dude, cassette tapes were pricey back in the 80s, honestly. So
yeah, they were.
Working at, my after school job, I'd buy what I could and stuff. And so, like, I knew of Metallica, but I hadn't been able to either be turned on to them by someone else or buy them. But I had a friend at the right time, that this skateboarder guy that I was friends with in school. I discovered he had, like, this was like, dude, I thought this guy must have been, like, rich. This was, like, godly to me. This guy had, like, 300 heavy metal cassette tapes in his house. He invited me over one day after school. I never saw that much metal cassette. I mean, I was, like, floored, right? And he also had a bunch of vinyl. And he's like, here, check this out. And like I told you, I had just heard of Metallica. I hadn't even heard Kill 'Em All. Ride the Lightning was out, came out like the year before. And I go, do you have Metallica? That's how I pronounce it. I couldn't even say the fucking name Metallica. He goes, you mean Metallica? Yeah, that's it. He goes, yeah, dude, here. This is Ride the Lightning, their album that came out this past year. He put it in, and holy shit, from the beginning to the end, I listened to that whole thing right there in that guy's basement, and it fucking changed my life. And then I immediately went out and bought my own copy, and I played it over and over and over and over and over. I mean, nonstop. And I'm like, I want to do what these guys are doing. I want to do what James Hetfield and Kirk Hammett are doing on guitar. I want to do it fucking now. And I got my first electric guitar, and then, dude, all this shit happened within 1 year. I started taking lessons, really from a great teacher. He was a heavy metal guitarist, but he was also classically trained and had a degree in music. So I learned all this technical shit that really helped me, like modes, arpeggios, scales, speed runs, and guitar exercises. And I learned all of the elements and techniques that heavy metal guitar players used. And this dude was in the real heavy shit. And in that same year of getting on the right track with guitar lessons and really being serious about guitar more than ever in my life, dude, the next thing, it's 1986, within that same year that I discovered Ride the Lightning. Dude, Master of Puppets came out, and then fucking Slayer, Rain and Blood. Yeah. I'm telling you, my life changed within fucking, 12 to 16 months time. My entire life changed. But the catalyst was Ride the Lightning right when I first heard it. That's what started it all. And that, between Metallica and Slayer, 85 to 86, that's what got me into guitar and to be an extreme metal guitar player. And then, bro, it just evolved from there. Because then after Rain and Blood, playing that type of music wasn't enough. I wanted to be heavier than that. Fucking A, what comes down the pike? More thrash metal and then death metal. And all these death metal bands just fucking took over my life. And, hey, here we are. Now I'm talking to you. I got 7 studio albums out now. And I love it, dude. I fucking love being I love being a guitarist in general, and I especially love being an extreme metal / death metal guitarist. It's just, dude, it's my art. It's what I'm passionate about, man. I love it. Outside of writing, horror novels and fiction, being a guitarist in Broken Hope is the only other thing in life I want to do. So.
Metallica is my all-time favorite band, and if it hadn't been for those guys and all their music, I'm talking about like from Kill 'Em All the way up to the new shit that's out right now, which the new album's amazing. I don't care what anybody says, it's a damn good album. I wouldn't be
great.
I wouldn't be sitting here right now. So, because my dad got sick, and then it's like my whole world got turned upside down. Then I lost my dad, and I lost my grandfather right after that, and then it's like, without those guys' music, and other bands too as well, but without the huge influence of Metallica on me, they saved my damn life. So,
dude, hey, I feel you, brother. Music changes lives.
Oh yeah,
and music helps people fucking get through life. They've got they actually use music therapy in some hospitals to help people. And it just as a person, not even, using music, what do you call it, music therapy, but, people that are, like, just in general, like you and me, whether you lose a loved one or you're having a tough time with relationships, work, or just life in general can be fucking hard. Goddamn, dude, music is one of the greatest things that mankind has ever come up with because it really sustains life and it brings you joy and get you through stuff. You listen to metal music, for me personally, I listen to metal music, it's a fucking release. The aggression, the heaviness, it's like it fucking feels good, dude. And then there's other music that of different genres that I love. I have very eclectic taste. I'm all over the bear this fucking music. I
Me
mean,
too.
I could go on and on about it. But,
me too.
But music from other bands can make me happy. Sometimes certain music can make me sad, but it's a good kind of sad. It's all that sadness in itself, release. I mean, and it's fucking powerful, dude. Music's powerful. So I can totally relate to you when you say Metallica saved your life when you lost your dad, your grandpa, and you went through that shit, because I've been there, dude. I know exactly what you're talking about. And whether it's Metallica or any other band or any other genre of music that's helped get you through anything in life, even just to brighten your day, even if you're already happy and nothing bad's happened, and you listen to music that just fucking feels good.
Yeah.
There's nothing, you can't even describe how that feels. And that's, dude, music is no joke. It's fucking powerful. It's awesome, dude. And man, it is one of the greatest things that fucking humans have ever done. Yeah. Period.
And I've been doing this for 7 years, and I have busted my ass off, which I love it because it's just a labor of love for you guys. But I would love to have just a 5-minute interview with Metallica. I'm just asking for a 5-minute interview just to thank those guys.
That's the other thing about life, my friend. Anything's possible. You never know, dude. You might get that opportunity someday. Believe me. I know. I'm telling you, anything's possible.
That's for sure. You keep working at it. That's for sure. Now, you said that you write books, horror books and things like that. Are you working on anything new with that right now?
Yeah, I am. Back in 2011, I published a short story that I sold to a major publisher, and it became part of a short story collection of like zombie stories.
Nice.
And it went on. It was highly, highly successful. It was sold 60,000 copies, and that put me on the map. And that I got a book deal out of that. And my first novel was published in 2011 as well. It's called The Armageddon Chord. When that came out, it went on to be a bestseller in 4 countries, and it's done really well. So since then, I've written. Basically, I have 2 new novels that are written that I need to finish editing, and I'm working on another new novel that I'd say I'm about halfway through the first draft. So I'd say I got 2.5 new novels, and I'm hoping, as long as I keep at my disciplined schedule here at the house, I try to write every day, and get this shit edited. I want these books. I'd like to see them published within the next year. So it's been a while since that first novel got published, but I'm looking to make up for lost time by getting 3 new novels released, over the next year or so. So I'm definitely not squandering my time too much. I've been pretty busy.
Folks, this album is out right now called Mutilated and Assimilated. Please go out and take a look at this. Now, I'll say it right now, I don't listen to death metal a whole lot, but this album is so fucking good that there's just no way of turning it away. And I'm not saying that because Jeremy's on here, but that's the truth. This is a damn good album from start to finish. And if you can't get into this, there's something badly wrong with you. That's for sure. Jeremy, how can folks stay?
Thank you, bro. That's awesome. Thank you.
How can folks stay in touch with you guys, buy this new album, some merchandise, and plus your books? How can they get all this?
They can get this album. Well, first off, you can get the album anywhere, and then you can stay in touch with the band real easily. We have an official Broken Hope Facebook page, and that's one of the best ways to get a hold of the band and everything. And then we have, Instagram, and people can send messages to the band there. We don't always answer the messages, but we, have people that do tell us sometimes when people have questions. We try to convey our answers back to fans and stuff through our management or the administrators. But Broken Hope is on Instagram as @BrokenXHope. And on Twitter, I believe also is Broken X Hope, and then the official Broken Hope Facebook page. Best ways to find out what's going on with the band and hitting us up.
Before I let you go, good sir, will you care to do a promo for the show?
Yeah, absolutely. This is Jeremy Wagner of Broken Hope, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour. Keep it sick.
Everybody stick around. We got some great music coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and Uber City Radio. Thank you so much, Jeremy.
Thank you, my friend. It was a real joy talking to you, bro. You're fucking awesome, man, and I wish you a lot of success, okay?